What's up, y'all? It's your boy Marcus, and I seen as a result of a lot of what's happening in the country right now, a lot of my non-black friends are standing in solidarity with us, but they're using the term or the hashtag All Lives Matter, and it's kind of hurtful for me, and because um, I still love a lot of you guys, I want to take a moment to tell you why this is important that you stop using the term all lives matter during this moment because I'm already angry as a black man living in America, feeling like I have to prove every freaking day um, that my life matters, what I'm doing matters, my family matters, my business matters. Um, but then, even during this time in the country where most of us are already really sensitive, um, I mean, the sensible ones are sensitive to like what the requests are and what the needs are of folks that look like me. But it's a smack in the face when you use the term all lives matter. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell the story why, because I think that's always helpful, and I love storytelling. So Thursday evening, my wife, my 4-year-old daughter Aya, and my son Marcus Jr. Um, we all got in the car and we drove down to my sister's house in Baltimore, and we drove down there because it was my niece's 20th birthday. We're also super proud of my niece. She just got finished her second year of college in her law program, and she's crushing it. She's an incredible student and a wonderful, wonderful young woman. And she decided that she wanted to spend her 20th birthday with her family, and the way that she wanted to celebrate it was with game night. And so she opted to forego going with the friends and saying, look, this is my boyfriend, my mom, my dad, aunts, uncle, cousins were all in, and we were playing game night. And we had all of the games set up. Like we had, Taboo, we were playing a mystery game. Dominoes were pulled out. We had all the games set up. But one of the games that my son Marcus Jr., my 9-year-old, he likes to play is Connect Four. He believes he's the Connect Four master, and he wanted to play Connect Four, but we didn't have it. And so my wife, she agreed to be able to go to the store to go take him to the store. They were going while they were cooking dinner and getting ready for game night and for people to come. And we had a Zoom set up so that because of social distancing, people couldn't come. They could join in a Zoom. They can come in and play Family Feud with us on game night. And so they were like, look, while we were setting up, my wife Andrea and Marcus Jr. They're going to go to the store to go buy Connect Four. So they go to buy Connect Four, and I'm sitting in the house waiting for them to come back. And when they come back, my wife is like, "Yo, you got to talk to Marcus." And so I'm like, "Well, what's going on? What happened? What's wrong?" You guys only gone for like 15 minutes. What happened? And so she's like, "Just talk to Marcus." And so Marcus Jr. comes and sits on my sister's deck with me while we're outside. We all are just chilling, and he says, Daddy, he was like, when we got to the store, there was a police officer that was at the store, and it's like when we walked into the store, he was like had plain clothes. He's a plain clothes officer on, but he had his gun out, and he kept just holding his gun every time we got closer. And he was like, man, because of what's going on right now with George Floyd, I thought that I wondered if I could be next. And I'm listening to my 9-year-old son tell me the story, and it's hard because I'm like, I don't even know what to say to this, right? So I'm just like, yo, yeah, I'm like, I feel you, bro. I'm like, man, to be honest, when Daddy gets around police officers and they start acting and fidgeting and they start seemingly getting nervous, I get nervous as well. And I'm like, I try to avoid police at any cost, you know what I mean? And I don't want you to feel alone in this, Marcus, but I also don't want you to lead with fear. And so we go into this long conversation, and everybody on the deck who's also black is like joining in, and like some people was just sitting there about to start crying. They're like, how much it hurts to hear a 9-year-old baby say these things. And I thought we had a pretty good conversation. And then the next day comes, and my wife is like, how did that conversation go with you and Marcus Jr.? Because when she was so frustrated with the incident, she went back in the house and left me on the deck with him. So the next day, when the next morning, she's like, how did the conversation go? And she, I'm telling her, all the stuff that we talked about, and she's like, one of the things I definitely want to make sure that you talk to him about is like him not just the fear, and him not doing anything crazy like trying to run, or if he sees a police officer, or how does he address his fear and how does he react and respond? And so I'm like, yeah, you're right. I missed that part of the conversation. We talked about a bunch of other stuff, but I missed that part. And so we talk, I sit him down again the next morning, and I'm like, yo, I'm glad hey Marcus, I'm glad we had a good conversation yesterday on Auntie Michelle's deck. But I also want to talk to you about, the fear and, how you deal with it, how you process it, and the emotional intelligence you have to have when dealing with police officers, or when you're, when mommy and daddy is not around. If you and one of the neighbors decide to walk to the basketball court and you see a bunch of police officers, understanding that you have to, you're okay. You haven't done anything wrong. You don't have to run from police. You don't have to try to avoid the police. You can go and shoot around and not be fearful that your life is in danger or that you're in trouble. If they ask you a question, you can answer it. If they have to, if one of your friends gets smart, or somebody runs, or they want to grab you and detain you, like, don't run or don't fight back. Right? Make sure that, don't try to answer, don't try to say I didn't do anything, or argue with them. Don't do any of these things, because Marcus, I want you to come home. At the end of the day, every single day, I just want you to come home. And I'm looking at my son, and you have no idea how hard it is to be able to have a conversation with your kid and be like, man, and he's looking at you like, Daddy, can this really happen to me? Can this really happen to somebody my age? Like, I'm 9. Like, I know this can happen to adults, and I'm like, dude, like, you don't know what it's like when, like, bruh, some people think that they look at you, they don't think that you're 9. They may think you're 11 or 12, and they want you to respond like 11 or 12-year-old, and they want you to be knowledgeable as an 11, 12-year-old, and that means that if you don't, and you respond like a 9-year-old, then that means that you're doing something wrong, and that means it causes fear in them. If it causes fear in them, they're going to do something to respond and react. And again, Marcus, I want you home at night. And so as you think about the conversation that you have to have with your son or your daughter, ask yourself, every time that they go outside and play, do you have to say, it doesn't matter what someone says, just know your mom and your dad will come and get you after the fact. We'll call a lawyer after the fact. Do whatever you need to do simply because I need to get you home at night. If you don't have to have that conversation with your son or your daughter, then this isn't about what all lives mean. It's about what black lives mean. Like, I'm an entrepreneur that has to fight every single day and do so many backflips every single day. And I do way more than most entrepreneurs in general do. But because I'm a black man, I don't get the same kinds of opportunities that a lot of my friends get. It doesn't matter how many amazing grades that my son gets. He's a 4.0 student that speaks Mandarin. It doesn't matter if he gets caught in a basketball court and a police officer has questions and he doesn't answer them in the right way, he may not come home at night. This is the reason why black lives, they have to be actually told. I have to tell my son, you matter and you should be respected. If I have to tell my son that, and the only reason I tell him that is because he is a black boy, he has a black life, and it matters. It's the reason why I don't have to say that all lives matter, and neither should you.